There's a place, a school, an institution where a professor resides. One that for the past 30 years has traveled the world teaching others. A pioneer in America of the fighting science of Savate. One who codified the sports of this fighting style. One who has produced clubs, champions, and continues to develop. Listen to work.
Back at you on Mondays answering some questions and viewpoints. And number one, I want to thank everybody for continuing watching. Our subscribers are going up. We got some good stuff coming up in the near future. I'll touch base more about it towards the end of this podcast. One of the questions that's always asked is, how is the sports of Savate française and Camp de Combat here in the United States? Well, let me tell you, the sports of Savate française have been around probably since 91 when we had the first Metro Blast. 92 actually when we had the first Metro Blast. And we had Metro Blasts underneath the Texas Association of Savate, which was the first association that was formed in the US. After several years, the Boxing Commission, the Texas Boxing Commission, told us that we needed to continue moving it, but we needed to change a lot of rules, a lot of regulations that were going on because they were looking at us as professional, even though we were amateur. Let me explain what I mean by that. Texas was the first and it is still to this day, to my knowledge, the only state that allows for the performance and exhibition of the sport of Savate française throughout the United States. And we had extensive talks with then boxing commissioner, and he was a great man, and he passed away, and he's in our hearts go out to the family of boxing commissioner Dickie Cole. Dickie Cole was a fabulous boxer back then. I mean, he was in the ring at the time when Curtis Coates was around from Dallas. You know, they're the boxers from the Dallas era. He got involved in boxing, but he was very instrumental to teaching us how we needed to produce the sport. So he said, we had several meetings that we had in Austin. I mean, I'm talking about every year we used to go there, sometimes 2-3 times per year, to change and modify and talk to physicians and have physicians draft up papers. And we had the International Federation come down with then President Michel Roger come down in here and understand how everything worked. Unlike Europe, in the United States, each state has its own pugilist laws. Okay, either the state athletic department or the state Department of Licensing Regulations. In there, they have a boxing commission. That boxing commission oversees everything. Regardless if you're a non-for-profit karate school and you're going to have a tournament, the body of that tournament has ties to the boxing commission. Okay, so they told us, look at USA Boxing, look at the way USA Boxing is. There's a lot of things that need to be changed. Well, in 1995, we started finding companies that would make gear. Remember, you have to understand that in the 90s, boxing gear was either too expensive or you got the cheap stuff from Walmart. Those red Everlast boxing gloves that you hit a couple of times and they'll pop on you. Well, anyway, we had to get regulated equipment, meaning headgear, gloves, shoes, and they had to be bonded, number one. So people would say, we don't want to use those. We want to use the French shoes. Well, the French shoes weren't bonded here in the United States. So they had to have a type of shoe that was here in the States. They'll be eligible to be in there. So when USA Savate was created, it was in 96. 97 was the first time we had another Metro Blasts, and we continue moving forward. 98, we had our first championships. '97 and so on and so forth. We had international fights and down the line. A lot of individuals that were from other satellite entities that did Savate wanted to compete. It was open to anybody. All you had to do was take a coach or a seconds class workshop to explain the rules and what you could and could not do while you were taking a competitor up to the ring. Um, if you wanted to be a referee, you could do so as well. Want to be compete, you had to have a certain age. The difference here was because of safety. Remember, safety. And here's something that I learned, and I keep telling this to everybody. If you're a boxing coach, get this in your head. When in doubt, you stop the bout. There's a lot of individuals getting hurt, even killed, maimed, or even hurt for life because of a ego of a coach that thinks that his training is superior to others, and they hurt their competitor, their fighter. So as this was progressing, and as Savate was growing, and USA Savate was growing more, we really couldn't have competitions for Khan. Why? Number one, the uniforms, the equipment was way too expensive. People were not going to be paying between $1,000 to $1,600 just for a uniform for that. So and there was nobody here that would make those equipment as of yet. Okay. So what occurred with USA Savate, many individuals transferred over from boxing, especially from USA Boxing. So one particular time we had 67 clowns. A lot of USA boxers were involved. People that didn't know Savate or kept coming from Savate would take workshops to develop their skills and fight in the ring. There's a lot of things that you have to understand. People that represent the United States, there has to be an escalated set parameters for championships. You have to have regionals, you have state championships, and you have U.S. championships, and then you can go on and so forth for international. Now, when you come in with U.S. teams, they all have to be U.S. citizens. They cannot be French or Italian or Canadian and make up a mumbo jumbo team and go over there and represent any other sport. You have to be a U.S. citizen. Those are federal laws. Those are laws, period. And people would get mad because we were following the laws. Well, number one, I'm not going to subject myself or anybody on the board of USA Savate to do something illegal just to say we had a bout. Okay. And that's what people didn't understand. Now, enough of the rules and regulations of that. Let's talk about having an actual event. Because people say, oh, I want to have some fights. Good. I actually hope so. Okay. I would love to see people have smokers. I would like to see people say, I want to have a regional tournament. I want to have a competition. I want to have a championship, what have you. Let me tell you something. If you do not have your own ring, you're going to spend money to rent the ring. And I'm giving you the money and the rent of rings of what it was in 2005 was the last time that we had events, and I had my own rings. Okay, is a rental for a ring back then was $2,500 just for the rental of the ring. Unless somebody's going to donate it for free, you're going to be paying about $2,500 for it. If you're going to rent a space to have the bouts, you're going to pay for the civic center, you're going to pay for a gymnasium. So rent for the location can go anywhere from $750 all the way up to $4,000. And then you have to understand how to negotiate. Are the concessions going to be yours, or are they going to take concessions? And if they're going to take concessions, can they lower down the rent cost because there's people that are going to go there? Okay. You also have to understand that you have to pay for advertisement. You have to set that into your budget. You have to pay, if you're going to have an international bout, you have to pay for the coaches that are flying in, their ticket and their meals. part of the show, being amateur. Okay, just remember, this is amateur, not professional. So it basically has the same overhead as a professional bout that a promoter is going to pay without paying the officials and without paying the fighters, their purse, and so on and so forth. So as an amateur event of a bout can run you anywhere between $6,000 to $10,000. Okay, unless you already have some of this stuff, then it brings you down. You also have to pay a doctor. Would a doctor do it for free, or would a doctor give? So you have to look at all those different things that are going on, and security, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many other things that if you're really serious enough, give me a call. I'll help you out with this because we've done many. Now, as time moved forward and USA Savate was growing and stuff was growing, you have to realize that not only you're promoting something now, you're promoting an event. But let's take a step back. Now I'm the coach. I'm the second. I'm taking fighters to the ring. You have to have enough judgment. Can that fighter actually defend himself? And if he can, move forward. And if he cannot, you tell him, step down. Wait your turn. Right now is not the time. Well, guess what? The ring is not for you. You have to be blunt. And I'm sorry, but if it breaks people's feelings, but I've told people this, you're not ready. Keep working at it. We'll do it the next time around. No, you're too old. You're not going to go in the ring now. We get a lot of people that are 35, 38, 40, and they say, well, I want to go professional. Listen, you've never done it before. I'll tell you straightforward. Get out of it now. Okay? Quit mentally masturbating and think that you can do something that you cannot. Okay? I'm not teaching you. You're not going to learn the art of savant. I'm not telling you that you're not going to be able to. You're capable of you defending yourself. Just telling you that the ring is not for you, and you have to have that. And that's when people start saying, "Oh, the professor's an asshole. The professor's this, that, blah blah blah," because he's trying to save that person from getting hurt dramatically. It's a lot of stories I can tell you that have gone on with Savant. We tried pushing it in California. We tried bringing USA Savant. I remember spending 3 days in Sacramento talking to Robert Lynch, the boxing commissioner over there. And USA Savant was provisional. About a year and a half later, somebody had a match. Somebody got killed. It was not even sanctioned. They had men against women, no weights whatsoever, no ring whatsoever. Everything was uncharted territory. Somebody passed on, and guess what? No Savant was. I remember the letter. I remember when he called. I remember we had a huge conference with him and with Dickie Cole from here. We told him, it was not our people. We had one person that had gone to one of our events over there as an official, and he went out there and did his own thing. So you have to be careful. Now, as Gun went up, we ended up producing the stick fighting, which is part of USA Savant. It's a committee which is known as the Gentlemen's Stick Fighting Coalition, where we got elements of Can de Combat, and we got elements of fencing, and got elements of Boxe Française Savate, the ring. We got several different stylistic Filipino martial art competitions. We melded it together, and it's open to all. We've been having competitions. Last year, we did not have our Texas championship because of the COVID pandemic, but we're going to be on track again. It's fun. Help safety equipment is now less expensive. You wear lacrosse gloves. People who go out there and have fun. It's a padded stick, even though you get your knuckleheads out there and you tell them, hey, would you like to do this? And the first thing they say is, we train to kill. We train our blades to kill somebody. When we do this, we're your commando. Listen, you want to do that? Fine. You want to go help hit yourself with real sticks in your backyard, please do so. Just don't get us involved. You want to come out and have fun, have some good sporting events, good competition, good camaraderie, good fellowship, please do so. We invite you. On another note, which is very special to me, back in 2012, I did a documentary, and I did a documentary on the professors in Savate. And let me tell you how this documentary started. It started because one of the living legends, Professor Christian Guillaume, we were talking back and forth, and the world was going to bring him in for the World Pugilist Hall of Fame. And his teacher, Roger Lafont, was also my teacher, my math as well. And of course, he was much older, and I am very much older. And he was one of the legends back in '68 when I was born. He was beating up the Japanese kickboxers and Thai boxers using Savate against them. Very well documented. And we talked about doing a workshop in France. We talked about doing a documentary on him, on his techniques, on the way it was, stuff like that. 2 weeks before I go to France, I find out that he passed on. And that kind of hit me because number one, here's a living legend that not even the French Federation knew that he had died. Nobody was talking about it. I was very vociferous, and I said, you know what? I tagged everybody on social media and Facebook and said, hey, what's up with this? I go, here's one of our legends, people that we looked up for, people that we admired, people that we tried to copy. It's no longer with us, and nobody's not even mentioning it. What's happening with Savate? So everybody felt like me. I still went over there. And out of the 56 living professors at that time, I interviewed 46. Okay. When I came back with a documentary, we had a company that was going to do all the editing. A company that was not only doing the editing, was going to do the subtitling, because it was all in French, of course, for people to be able to check the subtitles. 2012, had finished, I put everything together. 2013, they were editing everything. And 2014 passes by. They say it's going to be ready by September. Okay, fine. It's already ready. You're going to be having, let's start working on the labels and so on and so forth to start selling the DVDs of the documentary, because it was 4.5 hours long. And this documentary and the money that was going to be used for USA Savate was going to be used for scholarship for kids. Okay. So kids could actually train for free in any club of USA Savate that they needed to. Well, anyway, in 2015, we sent the company a letter, and they never answered. We ended up filing against them to return all the stuff and return the money that we had spent. And in 2016, we get a letter stating that they were going bankrupt. Okay, the company was being bankrupt. It's out of San Antonio. 2016, going towards 2017, all of a sudden, their lawyer says, the company's no longer. What did you all need? And we said, hey, we need all the material back, all the film, all the footage. The footage didn't get to us till 2019, okay, in December, to our attorney, and he did not give it to me till mid last year. So we took a look at it, look at everything that's going on, and within the next 2 weeks, keep your eyes open, because Cobblestones, Square Circles, and Laughs, The Road to Savate, the documentary of its professors, as told by its professors, is going to be seen, and it's going to be free to everybody on YouTube. That's something that we love the art so much that we want people to understand the history and moving forward. Folks, Press like, press subscribe, share away. And remember, when in doubt, you stop the bout. What's the moral about that? Safety. And more so here in Texas, because now they just released the masks. Everybody's flipping out. Everybody's talking about why is this? You be safe. You protect yourself at all costs. Why do we do martial arts? For us to be safe. We train in a safe environment. Our sports are safe. I understand the human equation that people want to sidetrack and okay, we got a guy that he's real enthusiastic about Savate. He weighs 150 pounds, and this other club has one that weighs 215, and he's been champion 2-3 years. But we really need this show to go forward. Let's put them together, and it doesn't matter about the rules. And all of a sudden, somebody gets hurt, somebody gets damaged, and they put a bad name into the sport of Savate. Remember, when in doubt, you stop the bout. Until next time. Peace.
Words of Professor Buitron. Come train at the best kept secret of Laredo. Buitron Academy, 956-401-4868. Savate.biz.